Attention, brave souls and curious minds. I am the entity known solely as the Archivist. Entrusted with a grave and foreboding duty, my role is to unravel the enigmatic saga of Benjamin Raine. The 365 recordings presented here are more than mere audio files. They are the haunting echoes of a life veiled in deep mystery. This is his tale, exposed to those courageous enough to explore the shadows of his reality. Tread carefully, for within these chronicles lies a narrative that could ensnare you in its grip just as it did him.
January 7th, 2023. I got up early and drove to the bank, the one Claire and I have used for years. They close early on Saturdays, and I wanted to be there first thing. My mind was racing the whole way, thinking about what I might find if this key actually belongs to a box there. But things didn't go as I hoped. The bank manager, Mr. Thompson, he took one look at the key and shook his head. He said it didn't match any of their safe deposit boxes. In fact, he told me that most boxes use standard modern keys nowadays, not this old, vintage one. It felt like a punch to the gut. There I was, thinking I was onto something, maybe a step closer to unraveling this mystery, and it just fell apart. While I was at the bank, I thought I'd take care of another thing that I've been putting off, closing Claire's account. It's one of those tasks you know you need to do, but can never find the right moment or strength to actually do. So I mentioned it to Mr. Thompson, but he told me I need to bring in our marriage certificate and a copy of Claire's death certificate. I should have known. It's just more paperwork, more proof, as if the reality of her being gone isn't proof enough. I sat in my car in the bank parking lot afterward, just feeling defeated. This key, this one tangible piece I thought I had in this whole puzzle, and it's looking more and more like a dead end. This bank thing, it's like deja vu from one of the earliest stories Claire and I chased as a team. We were both rookies, desperate to get published. We got a tip about a local business, a beloved bakery, supposedly funneling money into illegal operations. We thought we'd hit journalistic gold, exposing a criminal underbelly in our sleepy town. We dove headfirst into it, analyzing financial records, conducting covert interviews, and following the bakery's delivery trucks, thinking they were making more than just pastry deliveries. We were convinced we were uncovering a huge story, ready to blow the lid off a major scandal. But the deeper we dug, the more it unraveled. The suspicious activities turned out to be nothing more than a series of innocent, albeit odd, business practices. The climax came when we realized that the so-called secret meetings we thought were these sinister gatherings, it was actually just a book club that the bakery owner hosted. I remember sitting in that dingy coffee shop with Claire, the one where we worked cases, feeling like a damn fool, surrounded by our notes and these half-eaten blueberry muffins, realizing our big story was just a small-town bakery living its ordinary life. Claire, she quipped, "Well, that's the thrill of the chase. Sometimes you're just chasing your own tail." It was a lesson in humility, in understanding that not every hunch leads to a headline. And now, I feel like I'm on a similar wild goose chase with this key. I can almost hear Claire laughing. I think I'll just make some lunch, try to clear my head a bit. There's a few emails I need to send, loose ends to tie up, and then I need to make a call to Claire's parents. It's time to discuss her things, whether they want to be involved in sorting through her possessions for the move. These conversations are never easy, but they're necessary. End of recording. So not the end. I managed to get in touch with Claire's parents a few hours back. We had a long chat about everything, the move, where things stand now, and then something clicked in my head. Maybe those old reporter instincts kicking in. I remembered the photograph and the phrase, "Everything we believed is a lie." So I asked her mom if it meant anything to her. At first, she drew a blank, but then something jogged her memory. She recalled Claire using that very phrase in her graduation speech at Columbia. It was a light bulb moment. I asked her, urgently, "Do you have a copy of that speech? Maybe a digital version?" And it turns out Claire had all her family albums and recordings digitized last year. Her mom said she'd send over the speech right away, and she did. Here it is.
Dear fellow graduates, faculty, and honored guests, today, as we stand on the brink of our future, it's important to reflect on the journey that brought us here. We've been told repeatedly that our hard work and dedication are the reasons we're graduating today. But let's be honest, for some of us, there's a little more to it. You see, as I look back, I'm struck by a humorous yet telling realization. Everything we believed is a lie. Now, before you raise your eyebrows, let me explain. We've all heard the university priding itself on meritocracy. But let's just say, for some of us, our parents' generous donations might have sweetened the pot. So, while we did burn the midnight oil, our success might also be slightly credited to Mom and Dad's contributions.
That line, everything we believed is a lie, it's right there, but not in the way I expected. It was part of a joke about how some students graduated thanks to their parents' donations rather than their own merit. Classic Claire, always mixing humor with truth. But what if this isn't just a throwaway line? What if Claire was pointing me towards something at Columbia? It makes sense in a way. Her time there was transformative, and she often talked about how it shaped her views. Maybe she left something there, or maybe there's someone from her past who could shed light on all this. Why else would she have written the same line on the back of that photograph? It's like she's guiding me, leading me to uncover something she knew I'd find eventually. I'm going to have to reach out to Columbia. Maybe the alumni office can help, or perhaps I can track down some of her old professors or classmates. It all leads back to Columbia. But there's this nagging doubt at the back of my mind. The bank trail went cold. I thought the key would unlock something, but it led nowhere. And now I'm pinning my hopes on a phrase from an old speech. I just can't shake this feeling that I might be doing exactly what Robert warned me about in my early days, creating a story where there isn't one. He used to say, "Ben, don't get lost in the narrative you want to see. Stick to the facts." And right now, the facts are thin. This could just be me trying to make sense of something that's senseless, trying to find meaning in a coincidence. I guess there's only one way to find out. I'll start with Columbia and see where it leads. Try to keep an open mind, but try not to fall into the trap of seeing things that aren't there. If Columbia is a bust, I really need to let this go. End of recording.